Hi everyone, my name is Zach. Today I'm going to be showing you my stretching routine for improved flexibility with an emphasis on the splits. My background is in the martial arts. I've been practicing Tae Kwon Do for 4.5 years. This stretching routine will run about 30 minutes long and is suitable for those of you with beginner to intermediate levels of flexibility and can be modified for individuals with advanced flexibility. So, if we're all ready, let's go ahead and get started. So a really important part of stretching is warming up beforehand. You want your body nice and warm, ready for action so that your muscles will stretch a lot easier and it'll help reduce injury as well as a result of the stretch. So once you're all warmed up, we're going to go ahead and start off with just a standing toe touch. So we're here. Stand up nice and straight. We're going to go down, try to touch the toes, try to go down as far as you can. If you're up here, that's fine. Try to go down a little bit lower each time. If you can, palms on the ground. If you can go even further, grabbing behind the legs here, pulling, coming down. You want to hold the down position. We're going to hold each of these stretches for about 15 seconds. Good, and up. Next, you're going to spread your legs apart, wider than shoulder width. Nice and straight, both toes pointed forward. And you're just going to sink down. I like to grab the ends of my feet here, but keeping your hands on the floor is also acceptable. You're just going to be stretching down center, stretching out both legs, back of the leg and the groin area. Good, we're going to go over to the left. So bring your body over to the left, try to touch your head to your shin. Good, through the center, we're going to come over to the right, stretching out the right side. Again, if flexibility isn't quite there and you can't bring your head to your shin, just go down as low as you can. Good, come to the center, and we're going to lift up. Okay, next we're going to come down on the right leg here, stretching out the left, so bending the right knee here. Try to come up on both heels for this. Just going to come down. You should feel the stretch here on the thigh and the inner groin. We're going to push over to the other side, stretch out the other leg. You want to make sure your hips are on top of where your legs are. I see a lot of people sit down in the stretch here and you're not stretching anything if you're sitting down or if you're like this. You want to be on top of the hips, on the heels, here. For a little added stretch, you can lift the hands up, have your body weight push down into the stretch. Good, and up. From here, you're going to come on your heels and you're going to spread your legs out. You're going to go down center split. Now, seems kind of strange. We only did a few stretches and we're going straight into the split, but this is just to whiten out the hips. I don't expect you to go all the way down. I'm not going all the way down. There's no way I can. You're just going to get a nice light stretch here in the center, stretching out the groin, trying to keep those toes up, or alternatively, you can have them pointed out. Good, and we're gonna sit back. Oh, nice, okay. I'm gonna bring the feet together, and we're gonna do our pike stretches here. So, feet out in front. You wanna try to keep your back straight for these. So, you're gonna come down, stretching, grabbing the feet if you can, bring the body forward, tuck the head into the legs, and hold. Good, and up. You're going to tuck your right leg in, and you're going to stretch the left. Depending on how your toes are pointed, if they're in a point or if they're flexed, you can work different parts of the leg in that stretch. So if you're here, you're going to work a little bit more of the thigh area. If you have it flexed, you can get a little bit more of the calf. So depending on what your needs are, or you can do both, mix up, stretching the leg. Good, and up. We're going to stretch the other leg. So extend, bring this leg in. You're going to come down and stretch. Work your way slowly into the stretch. Don't go all the way down first. You want to be nice and slow, nice and gradual going in. Pushing it just a little bit further so you can really feel that slight tension in the leg. If it feels like your muscle is going to tear, that's a sign you're stretching too far. Good. And we're going to come up. Nice. Okay. Next, we're going to do butterfly stretch. So, feet together. You're going to cup the hands under the feet. Just like with the pike stretch, you're going to try to keep your back straight with this move. So you're here. Try to get those knees into the floor if you can. If you have a partner or you got a buddy that can help you stretch, have them push on your thighs. What I like to do, I like to have people stand on my thighs and push my back into the floor so I can get a little bit more of a groin stretch here. But for now, back straight. Try to push those knees into the floor. Breathe in. Out, down. Keep that back straight. Bring the feet into the chest. Coming up. Go one more time and stretch. Good, and up. Next we're going to go over the hip flexor stretches, and then we're going to go into the splits. So, we're going to start with the left leg first, left leg in front, other leg's going to be back. Put both hands on the ground here. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing a hip flexor stretch, except it's going to be elevated. So, you're going to bring this back knee up on the ball of the back foot here. You want your knee behind your front foot here. You want it like this, so your whole body is coming over your foot. You want the knee just behind where your foot is here. And what you're going to do, you're going to lift up. You're just going to hold this position here, torso, body up. Trying to keep this back leg as straight as you can. Tensing it up will help get the stretch along a little bit further. And we're going to try to hold. Good. Hands on the floor, or bring the knee down. Straighten out that back foot. Bring the body up. Pushing on your hips helps. And you're just going to pushing your crotch into the floor. So you're here pushing on the hips, pushing forward. We'll push the hips down. Good. Hands on the ground. We're going to push back. Keep this leg nice and straight. Try to keep the back straight. We're just going to stretch down, stretching out this front leg. If you can gradually move your body down during the course of that 15 seconds, do so. Good. Moving the body forward, back to that hip flexor stretch. You're going to take the back foot, bring it up, and you're going to grab opposite hand. If you can, grab with both hands, body up, pulling, stretching out the quad here. Good. Slowly release. Foot down. Good. Let's do the other side. Right leg in front this time. One hand on each side of the body. Lift up that back knee. Lift the body up. And hold. It's really difficult to keep this back knee nice and straight, but the more you can get that, you can feel some tension in the quad here, and it'll help the overall stretch for the split. Good. Body down, knee down, straightening out that back leg. Torso's up, hands on the hips, and pushing. Alternatively, for some extra support, you can put your hands on your knees. Really thinking about how you can push forward into the stretch, feeling that tension in the crotch area. From here, hands on the floor. Move back, straightening out this front leg here. Back straight, stretching down. Pushing forward, bending this back leg here, grab with the opposite hand, and pull to stretch out the left quad. If you can, grab with both hands and pull. Here, in this case, you can still focus on that hip flexor stretch, pushing forward while you're pulling your leg back here. Good. Slowly release. Shaking it out a little bit. Nice. Now that we got our hip flexors all stretched out, we're going to go right into the splits. So, just a quick comment about the splits is that there's actually two different ways of doing the splits. And I'm going to show each of them and what they look like here. So, there's not really official names for these. These are just what I observed in gymnastics videos and martial arts videos, so I'll break it down. So, the first split is going to be the gymnastics split. Hips are straight forward. Toes in a point. This back knee pointed. This back knee is going to be situated under the leg. Hips forward, like so. Okay? This is your gymnastics split. The next split is what I like to call a martial arts split. That's where the side of your leg is actually on the floor and your back foot is horizontal to the floor. And you're like this. This stretches a little bit more of the groin in with the split, but this is just the different way of doing it. And if your flexibility is not quite there, and let's say you're all the way up here, what I see a lot of people do, they bend this back knee here and they try to go down like this. I would not recommend doing this because depending on the surface you're doing your split on, it could hurt your knee while you're trying to force all this weight down. So, straightening out that knee, only go down as far as you can. If your hands are supporting you here, you shouldn't have any knee problems. So you're going to come all the way down and stretch out the split this way. Those are just the two different ways of nailing that split. I'm going to start with my left first because my left is the more flexible of my two splits. So for the split, what you want to try to think about, you're going to have one hand on each side of the body. I like to be on the ball of the back foot here and slowly lower myself down into position. Now, if you're not as flexible, if you're here, or here, or here for the split, it's okay to have the knee on the ground. However, you get a nice slight tension in the back of your leg, lifting the knee up, because you're working the leg here, trying to keep everything off the ground. So if you can, get the knee up off the ground. If you have the flexibility, feel free to lower yourself all the way down. One hand on each side of the body, trying to keep that torso nice and straight forward. If you want to be fancy, you can point your toes. Adds a little bit more of the stretch in the leg, and we're just going to hold. Let's get the other side. So we're going to lift. Oh, go over to the other side. One hand on each side of the body. Lower yourself into position and try to get that full split. Oh, my right is not nearly as flexible as my left, so it takes a little more work to get all the way down for this side, but only go down as far as you can. Good, we're going to lift up, and we're going to go back to that center stretch, center split on the heels, come down. What's really important for the center stretch, you want to keep your butt in between your feet. You want your feet in one plane with where your butt is. You don't want it too far forward, and you don't want to be sitting all the way back here. You want to be up on top of that plane of where your feet are. Good, we're going to slowly lower back and sitting back. Bring the feet together. Give them a bend. Good, nice. Okay. So my routine, I like to do the splits once or twice before going on to some other stretches because it helps open up the hips just a little bit more so that we can get the most out of those stretches. So next we're going to move on to a modified pigeon stretch here. So what's going to happen, you're going to be sitting on your front thigh. Back leg's going to be bent. Both knees are going to be at 90 degrees. And here, you're going to be facing your body towards where your front knee is. And you're just going to be lowering your body into position. Feel free to go all the way down to the ground if you can. This is just going to be stretching out the glutes. Good, other direction. Lowering yourself down over that front knee here. Head towards the ground if you can. And if you have the flexibility to do a full split, you can do the full pigeon pose. So just like the modified, you're on this front leg here, except this back leg is nice and straight. and you're just sitting here. I like to think of it as a 3/4 split. So you're here, just stretching out the glutes and the hip all in one motion here. And if you've got this down, it's a little difficult for me to do, but you would have this front leg here nice and straight across your body. If you can't get straight across, having it bent so that this foot here is towards your back hip is also acceptable. Next one. This one works great if you have a partner or a buddy to help you out with the stretch. So what you're going to do, you're going to sit down. You're going to take one leg. You're going to start with the left. Place your hand on the inside of the foot. You're going to straighten out that leg as much as you can. Now here you're going to slowly go backwards, coming down onto your back if you can. All the way back, trying to keep this leg as straight as you can. And with both hands, you can pull that leg just a little bit further. And why this stretch works so well with another person is that you can have this person standing in front of you, and they can be pushing straight down on this leg so that you can get an even better stretch, because there's only so much you can do to pull your leg down. But if someone else is here pushing straight down on this leg, that leg can come much further. Good. And we're going to slightly bend, bring the body up. We're going to switch, other side, grabbing the foot here, extend, leaning back, and stretching. It's a little awkward for me when I do the stretch with a partner, because sometimes if I'm doing it on my left leg, I can get the leg to go all the way next to my head. And it's really awkward because the person pushing my leg, their face is like right up into mine, and it's slightly awkward for some people. So if you're going to have a stretching buddy, make sure there's someone you're very comfortable with, because moving your body in awkward positions can be awkward for some people. All right, bring the leg in and sitting up. Next, we're going to stretch a little bit of the calves. So come up on all fours. We're going to go into downward dog here. Move your hands forward just a smidge and stretching out the calves. Good, and relax. Next, we're going to go into a straddle here. So, feet nice and wide apart. Try to scoot your body forward so you can get as much of that tension as you can. Try to stretch as far forward as you can. You still want to make sure you're sitting on the ground with this so that your body can be up. You're in a nice sit. The only difference is the legs are spread out. So from here, we're going to take the body and we're going to go down center and stretch out the center here. Feel free to put your elbows on the ground. And if you're a little bit more flexible, you can stretch your hands out even further. Tuck the head into the ground. Center, straddle, stretch. Good. Coming up, we're going to stretch over to the left here, except we're going to be doing it with our other hand, and it's going to be over our head. So, left hand on your right hip, right arm is going to come up. You're going to stretch over to the side here. Have your left shoulder touching your left leg, and then grabbing the foot with the right hand here, pulling and stretching. This will also help stretch out the side here too. Coming up, other side, right hand on the left hip, left arm up, over the head, stretching, grabbing the foot, pulling. Again, if you're not as flexible, just stretch the arm out as far as you can. Coming up. Good. We're going to take the body, we're going to go down center one more time. Staying low, we're going to move the body over to the left. Stretching out the left leg. Staying low, we're going to move through the center over to the right side, stretching out the right leg. Now we're going to come back center. This time, stretch as far down as you can. Oh, good, and up. Bring the feet together. Give them a bend. Shake it out a little bit. Good. We're going to do the splits one more time, and then that'll be the end of the routine. So, left leg out. We're going to start on the left side first. Move the body down. Stretching out the split. The body should be a little bit more warm and a little bit more stretched out. So you should be able to get a little bit further down into the split. Some different variations once you already have your split. For here, you can give them their own set amount of time, but for the sake of time, I'll just demonstrate what they are. So if you're a little bit more flexible, you can move your body all the way down, touching the head to the leg, grabbing the front foot, stretching. Alternatively, from here, bring the hands up. You can stretch the back out. Oh, coming up. Good. Other side. We'll see if I can get my right split here. If all this stretching helped, we'll find out. Okay, so we're a little bit lower. Good. Really try, if you're doing that gymnastics split, try to keep that back knee tucked under the leg. It's fairly difficult, but getting the form and technique right on these splits is going to help give you a better stretch, and it'll help you really nail down that split. Good, now we're going to come center, up on those heels, stretch down as far as you can. Let's sit back. Oh, good. Straighten. Bend. Shake it out a little bit. And we're done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stretching with me today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I post splits tips, stretching tips every Thursday on my blog, zduray.wordpress.com, and you can follow me on Twitter @DurayZ. Thanks for watching.